In the quiet, red-earthed village of a Akoko town, nestled deep in Ondo State, lived a girl named Bola, the beloved daughter of Pastor Elijah, the most respected man in the village. Bola was a shining example of purity, grace, and obedience. Every Sunday, she sat on the front pew with her white lace scarf tied perfectly, her Bible in hand, singing hymns with a voice like honey. To the villagers, Bola was the daughter of light. One early morning, while chickens crowed and market women prepared their wares, whispers started to float through the village like harmattan dust. Bola's belly had begun to swell, pregnant. The village buzzed with confusion. Who, when, how, everyone gossiped. Surely the pastor's daughter couldn't have fallen like that. But the truth stood in front of them, wrapped in shame and silence. When Pastor Elijah confronted her, Bola said nothing. Tears filled her eyes, but no words escaped her lips. The pastor's rage was thunderous. He tore his shirt in agony and declared her a disgrace. "You are no daughter of mine," he spat. "You bring shame to this household and curse to this village." Her mother, timid and powerless, wept in a corner. Bola was thrown out that very night, with nothing but a wrapper, her slippers, and the child inside her. No one in Akoko village would take her in. Even her childhood friends avoided her. Children pointed and mocked her on the road. Some villagers claimed it was a spirit husband. Others whispered it was the devil himself. She didn't get pregnant. She was possessed, they said. With nowhere to go, Bola wandered toward the one place no one dared to tread, the Ijimere forest, said to be cursed, haunted, and full of spirits. But Bola had no fear left, only pain, and hunger, and confusion. Deeper and deeper into the forest she walked until her legs gave way near an old tree. Just as she closed her eyes, ready to die, a voice called out, "Child, get up. The ground is not your grave." When Bola opened her eyes, she saw an old woman, blind, with chalk-white tribal marks across her face. She was dressed in faded clothes, her back bent from age, yet her presence was powerful. "I am Mama Tolu, and you, Bola, carry more than a child. You carry destiny." Bola was too weak to respond, but Mama Tolu took her in, fed her, and gave her shelter in a small mud hut tucked in the heart of the forest. She spoke to Bola in parables and prayers. She rubbed oils on her belly and sang to the unborn child every night. Days turned into weeks, and Bola began to heal. Not just her body, but her soul. One night she had a strange dream. She saw a child walking through fire, untouched, glowing. When she woke up, Mama Tolu smiled knowingly. "Yes, I have seen the dream too. This child is no curse. He is a gift. But the world fears what it doesn't understand. Back in Akoko, things were falling apart. Children became mysteriously ill. The crops began to rot. A deep sorrow hung over the land. The elders gathered and concluded that the land was angry. 'It is Bola,' they declared. 'The cursed child is the source of our suffering.' They gathered a search party with torches and machetes, determined to find her and cleanse the village. But in the forest, something greater was happening. Bola went into labor as the first thunder cracked across the sky. Mama Tolu burned herbs and chanted ancient prayers. The wind howled, trees bent, and Bola screamed through the pain. It was as though the heavens themselves were bearing witness to the birth. And then silence. A baby's cry echoed through the forest. He was born with a glowing birthmark on his body, in the shape of a rising sun. Just as Mama Tolu lifted the child, the villagers arrived, eyes wild with fear and suspicion. But the baby reached out and touched Mama Tolu's arm, and instantly her blind eyes opened. She looked at Bola, then at the crowd, and said, "This child is no curse. He is Ifiolua, the love of God." A sick woman from the village was gently placed before the baby. When the infant touched her, her eyes opened wide, her fever gone, her strength restored. Tears flowed freely. The same mouths that cursed her now begged for forgiveness. Pastor Elijah stepped forward, trembling, and looked at the baby, then at his daughter. "My daughter, I was blind, forgive me." Bola looked at her father, then at the sky. "I forgive you, but I will never be yours again. This child, he belongs to the world now." From that day, the forest became a place of pilgrimage. Bola, now known as priestess of the forest, lived with her child in peace. Villagers came not to mock, but to kneel, not to throw stones, but to offer gifts. The child they once called a curse became the very salvation they prayed for. And so, the tale of my baby, their curse, lives on. Because sometimes, what the world rejects is what heaven has chosen. Subscribe for more African stories rooted in tradition, mystery, and magic. And don't forget to keep liking and sharing all our videos. Thanks for always watching Pebbles Stories.